So Ed had a sperm retrieval.
Because of my spinal cord injury, I find it hard to make a deposit in a natural way. So normally you'd go into a sperm bank, look at some magazines, I think, and then just hand a pot over. So it's a lot easier. For me, it's a lot more difficult because even though I can ejaculate, it's sporadic, don't know when it's going to happen, so I can't plan a time slot and go and do it naturally. So they do an injection and a removal. But whilst they were there, they also did some biopsies. And so they were looking for sperm to remove, basically, to freeze, to move on to the next step. So it's like very much the first stage of this whole process.
Yeah, we had no idea what to expect, really.
Yeah.
I don't think we tried not to overthink about it in terms of like the outcome.
And yeah, I mean, obviously spinal cord injury affects like sensation and fertility to a certain degree, but we weren't really sure what the effect was, but also what naturally would be lying underneath. And unfortunately, it was the worst possible news. So the doctor said they couldn't find any sperm in the tube, and then they took some biopsies, which is normally where you get to an end point where they'll go in and physically remove some sperm to implant them into an egg, and they could only find a couple there and that weren't moving. So she said it's like the male equivalent of having gone through menopause. Like my testes aren't just producing sperm at all, really, or not live ones anyway. So yeah, it was a bit of a shock to the system. I thought there would be issues, I thought there'd be complications. We thought that we'd have to go through sort of multi-stage process to get to where we want to be, whether that be IVF or whatever. I didn't kind of expect to have, they even said they were really disappointed for us, and it's a tough one.
We don't really know what next steps looks like. Like they said to us that we've got a call next week to talk through what the next steps could be, but yeah, we don't really know what that could be. I think the doctor said about potentially speaking to a urologist. Again, we don't really know why, or whether, I don't know what the next options are, like in terms of sperm donation or adoption or things like that, or whether there actually is more you can do medically.
And then you can't decide whether you want to do those things until they're kind of on the table. So anyway, like I went into this very much with what will be, in the sense that it is out of my hands to a certain degree of like what was the results were going to be today. But you still have in the back of the mind, you hope that that's not going to be the case, especially not the worst case scenario. And I know this affects so many people. I've had lots of friends who are going through IVF or haven't been able to have kids or made the conscious decision not to, and I just know it gets talked about behind closed doors or not publicly. So yeah, it's not been the best start. There's a lot to think and get our heads around, I suppose, and it's just another.
We've got some options, haven't we, in terms of like we can put some lifestyle changes into action, get tested for your hormones. Like I don't know whether that will fix things, but in terms of like just knowing,
testosterone's affected by spinal cord injuries as well.
So we're going to look at getting some hormonal tests done, and then like Ed can still ejaculate, and she did say that like fresh sperm is better. Whether there is actually sperm in the ejaculation, we don't know. So we can still keep trying to create natural samples. So it's not a complete can't just like write everything off, but at the same time it's not.
I think it's important to like start getting a head around the fact that you might not have kids, and that can be completely out of your hands, and it's okay for that to be the situation. It might not be what was in the plan in the first place, but that might be the outcome. And and for a lot of people that is the outcome. And I know that like you can end up fighting so hard for something or getting so hung up on something that at the end of the day is out of your hands. That applies to so many different things in life. And I just want to like give everything its best chance, but not be in a position where you expect it and then you end up in a place where you're really struggling because you haven't achieved what you set out to. It's like, what? Yeah.
I just think, I don't know whether it's like a woman's instinct is more, or whether it's just like a me and you thing, but like I do have more of a desire to be a mother, which is like only really risen up inside me since like Mum got cancer, and the thought of kind of not having her around if I did have kids made me realise that I did want them. So then I guess I'm getting my head around like how much I do want them, whether other options could be viable. But I think you feel the pressure because like you understand that maybe I want them more than you, and then
I mean I do really want to have kids with you, but it's like I'm not sure that I want to have kids enough, given like the other things we do with the charity and the purpose in that sense, and being godparents and things like that, to go through, like I was chatting to a mate the other day, 16 rounds of IVF, which is crazy, or adopting or sperm donor. Like, I don't know in my head if I want to have kids enough for that, but you might want to have kids enough for that.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I don't think you know until you're there. Like, it's crazy in your mind right now. Like, I'm not saying we are going to go down that route, but like plenty of people have, because the desire is there. But I don't know, like, what's weird is that I don't really know whether we have the option to fight like that at the moment. You know, like, because we just don't. Sounds like we can't get the sperm at the moment. So until we find out what the next options are, we don't know how much we're going to need to fight or want to fight. So we're very much still in a bit of a limbo.
We literally found this news out like half an hour ago, so this is very fresh. But it's one step at a time. I mean, personally, like, it is tough. Like, I'm very good at accepting things, but it just feels like my body's letting me down again, and us down. Like, it always seems to be me, obviously, and it's out of my hands, so it's just frustrating. But
your body, like, you know, you offer so much in this world. It's not, you know, you've never let anything let you down before.
No, I don't feel any less a person because of it, because I don't judge myself on my bodily functions.
No,
I
exactly.
judge myself on the way I act and treat other people. So,
but
it's still not nice.
You did say about, like, it's the masculinity piece, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, I feel like it's okay for that to hurt, I think, a little bit, but I also want people to realise that doesn't define you, like, as being a man.
No.
The fact that you can spray thousands of millions, billions of sperm everywhere you go.
The porn industry would beg to differ, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's just going to have to take some time to digest, because it was like, I expected it to be an issue.
Yeah.
Like, I expect there to be problems, then like, oh, they're a bit sleepy, or there's not many. But to be categorically like, we've actually gone in and done a biopsy and we're not finding anything, which is normally the last stage of sperm retrieval, was a bit of a shock. So
I don't know if anybody's got any advice, or it's quite a rare one, I'm sure, but if they've been there before in this situation, maybe to give us some hope or just some words of encouragement, that would be really appreciated.
Yeah, or if you've got any questions about what we've just gone through. It was a really easy procedure, to be fair. So, yeah.
Yeah, and they were great at the clinic, weren't they?
Yeah, really nice.
Felt really relaxed.
Yeah.
You were so relaxed that your heart rate was dropping below.
Setting the alarms off again.
But yeah, we're going to keep posting and keep everybody up to date. So if you like it or not, you'll see more of our faces. Yeah, thanks for listening.
Bye.